You must always honor your ancestors. The ones who watch over you.
Jump! Jump!
If things are being brought to the screen in this way, obviously, there's something that still needs to be addressed.
They can put the chains on your body. Never let them put the chains on your mind.
We have created great productions, but now we realize that we can actually do them so much better than we did them before for a new generation. It's very hard to get an 18-year-old kid who lives in London today to sit down and watch a 1977 version of Roots with no actors that he recognizes or, you know, but this version they can completely understand. I think it's relevant today, but it's always been relevant. The Black Lives Matter movement, kids getting shot in the street. These are all elements that make something like this not only relevant from an entertainment historical point of view, but by proxy have become relevant in a political point of view. You know, immigration is quite a talking point all over the world right now, whether it be in the United States of America, regarding Mexico, or in Europe regarding everywhere. So I think it's very, very relevant. Misplaced people, it's, you know, people without a home, people without a country, people who are trying to maintain their families and their culture in the worst possible circumstances is very relevant.
It's time your family pay Kunta. Run!
So obviously when they sent me the script and said, we'd like you to play one of the main characters in Roots, I immediately knew that I was not going to play a hero. There are no white heroes in Roots, you know? So I had to come to terms with the fact that I was going to have to do this part and that I was going to have to, as an actor, engage in that sort of brutality, and you have to make it so brutal, you have to play your character so brutally, otherwise you're doing a disservice to what the project's about.
If you ever touch just one, I'll kill you.
But there's certain scenes in this where you can almost smell the fear. And that's what happens when you get talented directors like Philip Noyce and Thomas Carter and Bruce Beresford. They know how to not only make you see something, but to truly make you feel it, to the point where you can almost sense the heat. You can almost sense the sweat, the desperation, the danger, also the hope. Because there would be no point to making a production like Roots if you didn't have that sense of human endeavor, that sense of human dignity that remains.
Blessed is this earth, because my people lie beneath it. Blessed is the rain, because it moistens their faces. Blessed is the wind, because it carries their names back to us.
It starts with the writers. It starts with the writers and the directors and the producers, and if they decide to make a film that embraces diversity, then you're going to see it at an award ceremony. But if it doesn't start at production, you can't see it when it comes to awards. You simply cannot produce awards for work that hasn't been allowed to be made. So maybe what happened at the Oscars this year, and diversity was brought to the forefront in such a way, maybe it will ring bells in production offices all over Los Angeles, all over England, all over Australia, all over the world, to say, well, we don't want to face this problem again. And there's incredibly talented, African-American actors, Asian-American actors, Asian English actors, African English actors. And so I think that it has woken up people to actually start putting more diverse projects into production to begin with.
They treat you like an animal till you strike like one.
No matter what the master call you, you keep your true name inside.
Well, the landscape in America has changed because technology has changed. Technology drives how cinemas watched or how TV is watched. So when I was a kid, we had this 24-inch television that you had to switch the buttons on. Now I've got a home cinema that's 74 inches. So what I can't make is I can't make The Bill and put it on a 74-inch TV anymore because it looks too fake. What I have to do now is I have to make home cinema. There's no such thing really as television anymore. I mean, there is, but it's reality television and it's talk shows. But when you come to something like, you know, the Tudors, and why the Tudors was important, I suppose, was, you know, it was the first time that we used a historical story to make a relevant TV series. People, when they made TV series, they fell into the normal formulaic categories: cops, lawyers, doctors, investigative reporters, and sex. And then all of these TV shows accomplished all of this. So, you know, from Prime Suspect to Law and Order to House, and was, you know, medicine, law, or cops worked. This was the first time I think the Tudors were actually going to make a TV series set in the 15th century. Who would have thought that it would have made a success? But there'd be no Borgia, there'd be no Game of Thrones if the Tudors hadn't gone in there and did it first. So from that point of view, yes, it has a relevance.
I gave you no permission to marry Brandon. Nor would I ever.
You gave me your promise. I was free to choose.
I made no promise. You are mistaken. How dare you look at me? I am your lord and master, not your brother!
I'm very happy that TV has changed because it's given people another avenue for which to work. I mean, I suppose if you really think about it, it's a magnificent time to be an actor because there's so many different avenues. When I first started working, when I was 16 years old and I did my first job, there was 3 main American TV stations: NBC, ABC, CBS. In England, you had ITV, S4C, BBC Two. Then Sky came in 1987, and now you have 25 different TV studios, all making productions of high quality, but it's different. Audiences see them differently. When Roots first aired, it had 160 million viewers. That's the highest of any TV show. I mean, the most that, you know, a successful show in America, like there's something silly like Dancing with the Stars, gets about 20 million viewers. This was 160 million people a night. That's an enormous amount of people. That's only ever been beaten by the Super Bowl. You can't repeat that because people are going to see it in many different ways. Some people will download it on iTunes because we don't want one piece of the cake every week. We want the whole 8 hours over one weekend. So that makes it good for actors. I mean, I suppose it's a bit more complicated for the ratings agencies, but they're not my problem. But for actors, it means that we have so many different avenues with which to get our creativity out there. At the same time, because there's so many studios, maybe you get paid a little bit less, but there's more opportunity.
Your name is your shield. Your name is Kunta Kinte.